Hi there, it's Lorianne. It's Friday, May 3rd, and I'm smiling because this computer this computer has a different thing that lets you know that okay, it's time to be serious because the movie is starting. It's like this ding, 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 like the backups on the treks. Anyway, it always makes me smile to hear that. So, so, anyway, as you can tell, I'm having a nice day. It's actually a really gorgeous spring day out today. It's somewhere in the 60s out there, and there's a breeze, and it's just delightful. After the spring is always delightful after the winter. Fall actually is my very most favorite time of year because the brilliance. There's no place like New England for fall weather. The trees, I don't know I mean, maybe they do, but I don't know of anywhere else in the world where the trees do what they do here. And so it's gorgeous. And then when the leaves all come off the trees, the colors are more muted, but they're still there, and the smell of the leaves on the ground is just delightful. I just adore it. And so there are things about spring that I enjoy. I love the blossoms. I love the new leaves coming out because the leaves when they come out are are a very delicate green when they first are much lighter in hue. And then as they get bigger and they mature, the color deepens. And so plus there's all kinds of blossoms and the birds come back and you have the nesting and I have a rose out in the front of the house that blooms in June and it's just like to die for. One of the things I'm going to have to do is sneak back here to New England in the RV. Actually, now that I think of it, I can well, I don't have a place to put them. I was going to say I could bring some with me, but because I don't have the ranch yet, and I don't know where the ranch is going to be. Once I have the ranch and I have the land, I'm going to sneak back here in the RV, and because these roses grow wild out here, and dig up some shoots and bring them back to the ranch and plant them because they are just the most delightful things. First of all, they're old roses, and so I don't know if you can see my. All right, if you can see my finger here. Each little rose, first of all, it's a four-petaled flower, and it's no bigger than the end of my little finger here, which is actually much bigger in this than it actually is. Because I have really small hands. Anyway, my little fingernail here is actually bigger than each individual little flower. And the flowers come in sprays, but the scent is just remarkable. And then, of course, in the fall, you have the red rose hips in a spray as well. So it's a huge branching rose. It's a bush rose, and so I'm gonna have to sneak back here and dig some up and hide them in the RV, and because you're going across the border. State borders with plants, they tend to frown on that. But I'm not very politically correct, which is one of the things you will learn about me if you hang around here long enough. Lorianne is a real American who understands what her Constitution guarantees her and also understands that 99.99999% of the things that our federal government and our local governments do are completely illegal. Completely illegal. Clear-cut violations of the Constitution, but they quit teaching the Constitution before I got in school. And I'm 56 years old. And I had to learn I had to memorize the preamble. That was the only instruction on the most important document in our nation that they were teaching in school by the time I got in school. Because, quite frankly, I don't think that anyone in politics that's in control of our government wants people to know what that document says. I actually went about 12 years ago now and took a 13-week course uh, on our Constitution and what it says and what those words actually mean. And so the long and the short of it is we have a government that's totally out of control. We no longer have a free country. They would like us to continue to believe that we're free because people who believe that they're free and that they have some choice in what they do actually produce better. And so, but you know, how did I ever get on that? Don't get Loria started on stuff like that, even though I started myself on it today. Because it's, first of all, there's no end to it. You could just go on and on and on and on about all, you know, but suffice it to say that, you know, 99 with as many nines after it as you would like to put behind it, things that your government does are illegal. And the only two things that they are allowed to do, one of them that they don't do, the government is responsible for maintaining a debt-free currency, which they do not do. So one of the absolute mandates of our government that they maintain for the people of this country a debt-free currency, they don't do. The Federal Reserve Bank is a private bank. It's not owned by the government, and they rent us our money for a fee. And so, which is one of the reasons why America is going broke, because we have to pay interest on all of the money that the Federal Reserve creates for us. And the other thing that they are responsible to do is maintain a military force to protect our land. Every soldier that is in another country fighting a war is there illegally, because nowhere in the Constitution does it say that we have the right to send our boys over to other countries and by force tell them how they have to be, how they have to live, what rules they're allowed to live by. It's not a legal thing that our government does. And besides that, it's completely hypocritical. We don't want anybody coming over here and telling us how we must live or what rules we must live by, but yet we feel that we have the right to go into any nation that we want to go into and tell them how they have to live. Now, I'm saying, you know, I don't agree with a lot of the things that these nations do, and I think the way that they treat their people is horrible, and I would not want to live there because of those things. But that does not give the American government the right to go in there and by force do, you know, and besides that, all of the reasons that they tell us that they're doing things is just the smokescreen. You know, Afghanistan and Iran and all of those things are not about the way that those nations treat their people. They're about rich politicians who have interests over there and don't care if they sacrifice our military boys and girls to protect their interests. So that's my rant. That's my rant for the day on that. Back to the fact that it's a beautiful. Oh, I know what got me started on that. I was saying, you know, I'm not the most politically correct person you'll ever meet in your life. Matter of fact, I may be, you know, far. I'm very, very, very far from that. And so I absolutely know that that even though the government would like me to believe that they have the right to tell me I can't dig up a rose here and plant it on my land in Colorado, they have zero legal right to do so. And so if I want to dig up a rose here and plant it on my land in Colorado when I buy it, I will simply do that. And anyway, and I will do that, you know, because it's just a delightful little plant. So okay, now. No, bad girl, Lorian. You should not go on these political rants, but you know what? Somebody has to, so it might as well be me. So today, actually, when I get done with this, I'm being a good. I'm doing my Life with Lorianne blog today, and I'll probably write one later on this evening. But my plan for the afternoon, my husband is actually in Hampton visiting his mom. I went off to. Oops, there we go. I went off to work this morning, and so I was going to go to Kirtan with my friend Adam, who I just adore. He's hysterical and he's great fun. And so I was going to go to Kirtan with Adam tonight down to Concord because there's some German Kirtan. I think tonight's the night the Germans are coming. Some German Kirtan people that I really wanted to experience, but I have this book, the sequel to A Discovery of Witches. I have it in my hot little hand, and I started it last night about an hour before I went to bed. And so the plan for the day has changed. You know, I do enjoy kirtan. It's something that I really like. It's very soothing to me. What kirtan is, if you don't know, is it's done in Indian Sanskrit, which I enjoy because I've been in India actually twice for a total of about 5 weeks, and India and Sri Lanka, and so I got to listen to the language there, and so being part of these kirtan things allows me to listen to that language again, which I really enjoy. But it's chanting. It's somebody leads the kirtan and they say something and then you echo that back. And most of the time, the folks who do it have the translation of the words in English so that you know what it is that you're saying and singing. And so it's very peaceful for me. It's very I just really enjoy it. And so but nothing beats a good book except horse riding. You know, if I have a good book, it's hard to pry me. It's hard to pry me out of a good book. Other than, you know, my two absolute favorite things in all the world to do are ride horses and sing. But probably number 3 is burying my nose in a good book. And so that's the plan for today. I have a bath. I have a bath drawing, and I'm going to get this video posted. And I've got I actually made in my little Pooh cup. This is my official hot beverage. My kids call me my husband has called me Pooh since we got married. And so several years back, I don't know how many now, we were actually in the house next door. My kids found that Disney had Pooh cups. And so they started, every time they went to the mall shopping, which my daughter Favor is the consummate mall shopper, she would come home with a new Pooh cup for me. So I've probably got more than 20 now. They're all boxed up, ready to go. But this is the one that I actually drink out of all the time. And so in my Pooh cup today, though, I don't have coffee, which I adore. I absolutely adore coffee. If I have one vice that I will die with, it's coffee drinking. But, you know, I intend to live to be at least 150, so I got a while. I've got a lot of years of good coffee drinking ahead of me. But today what I have in here is I have this hot chocolate beverage that's got chilies and spices and stuff in it. But I don't do dairy. Really, I actually eat basically what folks call a hunter-gatherer diet. I don't eat dairy. I don't eat greens. I don't eat beans or legumes. And so it dawned on me today that I could get almond milk or coconut milk, and have my cacao in that warmed up instead of regulation hot chocolate. And so I looked at the almond milk, which I've never had, and there was too many icky things in that, and it was in those plastic things that I don't like the old-fashioned milk cartons. And so I went and got some coconut milk, and so I have coconut milk in here with my cacao and my spices in it, and it's really yummy. And so that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna have a hot bath, and then I'm gonna go sit outside with my bare feet on the ground and read my book and watch, while I'm reading my book, I'll watch the jays, and we actually have several cardinals this year that come to the feeder, and I'm just going to have a delightful, delightful afternoon here. With the house to myself. It's actually the first time I've had the house to myself since Tom retired, which is it's kind of nice, actually. It's nice that he's retired. He goes off and plays. He's starting to relax, and so and actually, we found out the other day that it looks like our 401k money is going to come back sooner rather than later, and so that's wonderful as well, because it means that we'll be able to get the RV here in the yard and sooner than we thought, and actually fix a definitive we're leaving on this day, and things are just moving along quite nicely, and the business is going well. And I just love this business. For those of you who don't know what I do, my husband and I, what retired us actually is both of us is we started a year ago last December a home business as affiliates of Empower Network and their products, and it has been just delightful. This is the fourth actual home business that we've been involved with. And it's the first one that we've made money in, and we're doing really well. I was able to retire. My husband was able to retire, and it's what's enabling us to have the life that we want and to go and do the things that we want. And one of the nicest things about it for me is that you do it actually helping other people. You do it. You make your money by helping other people be successful and make the kind of money that they want. And so it's really, and I get to do things that I like to do anyway. I get to write. I get to make these videos. I get to make, I have several different blogs that I do, and it's just fun, and I have a great time doing it. So that's, let me put my chocolate down before I spill it all over the place. So that's life with Lorianne today, and I'll let you know tomorrow where I'm at the book. Like I said, I'm like an hour into it, and I just can't wait to get back to it. So tomorrow, when I make my little Life with Lorianne video blog tomorrow, I'll tell you how far I am and how it's going. And so you have yourself a good night. I'm going to have myself a great night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.